music series. Tune in to hear performances from established favorites and up-and-coming hidden gems alongside exclusive interviews. Next week, we'll be joined by Greg Clark and the Mad Varks, a label-defying ensemble inspired by rock and roll, blues, early punk, and jazz. Join us this Tuesday from 3 to 4 p.m. See you then!
From the roots up, CIUT 89.5 FM, Toronto.
welcome to Tracks from Abroad on CIUT 89.5 FM, broadcasting live from Hart House at the University of Toronto.
Here at Tracks from Abroad, we're playing the sounds of your world, interviewing guests from around the globe and sharing their diverse stories and experiences.
My name is Ian Gillis. I'm a student of classical voice performance here at the University of Toronto's Faculty of Music.
And I'm Amelia Spong, studying media and anthropology.
So I just want to take a moment to remind our listeners that this week CIUT is undertaking the Sound of Your City Fall fundraising campaign. In Toronto, CIUT continues to be the only operating community radio station, and we rely on your donations to make our shows possible. As students here at U of T, CIUT is the only station which is able to give us this public platform, allowing us to take an active stance in supporting artists from around the globe, as well as right here at home in Canada and Toronto. Every episode, we seek to amplify the voices of diasporic communities making waves in the Canadian music scene. We've just reached our goal of $100,000 with a stretch goal of $120,000. If you're a regular listener to our show or feel inspired by our mission, we would like to encourage you to donate to enable our continued support of local and global artists. Our donation phone lines are local 416-946-7800 or toll-free 1-888-204-8976. Online donations can be made at www.ciut.fm.
To start off the show this week, we heard Blues for OG, written and performed by Oliver Gannon and Bill Coon. Oliver Gannon is a Juno Award-winning Irish-Canadian jazz musician who's been a member of the Order of Canada since 2017. He also happens to be my granduncle. He's featured in this episode not only for his musical talent, but also because he resided in BC for many years. If you haven't guessed it yet, this week we're traveling to BC, where we had a chance to sit down for a chat with Simon.
We'll be interspersing the interview this week with the music of British Columbia, so keep your ears out for some better-known BC artists like Grimes and Peach Pit, as well as some of the rising stars in the Indigenous music scene of British Columbia. Hello and welcome to Tracks from Abroad on CIUT 89.5 FM. Amelia and I are in the studio today having a chance to speak with Simon from Vancouver, British Columbia.
Simon is actually our audio editor here at Tracks from Abroad, so we're very excited to speak to him today.
Hey guys, how are you guys doing? Thanks for having me on.
So, where in BC are you from?
So I'm actually not from Vancouver, but I like to say I am, because it just sounds way cooler. But I'm from Coquitlam. It's like 40 minutes east of Vancouver. It's like a nice small town. British Columbia, there's like a lot of greenery. So actually like 5 minutes from my house, there was like a small mini like mountain trail that I would always go up to. So that's like a fun little fact about Coquitlam.
Yeah, and what about British Columbia as a whole?
I'd say BC is very beautiful. Just because there's a lot of nature, a lot of trails. It's known for having a lot of mountains, so skiing and snowboarding is very popular there. Toronto's like very flat, but in BC there's like mountains covering the whole skies. But yeah, I think it's a very good place to grow up or settle down in, just because there's a lot of forest and nature.
I mean, it's also like the northern West Coast, I guess. It's all like temperate rainforest.
Yeah, that's the bad part about the West Coast.
That's the bad part?
Yeah, because like, okay, when I first moved to Toronto, it was like a lot windier than I like was used to. But now I'm like used to it. And now like every time I go back to Vancouver, I'm just like, dude, I have to carry an umbrella like everywhere, you know?
Really? Is it as rainy as people think it is?
I could literally pull up the weather app and I can like guarantee like at least 5 days out of the week it's raining.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy. I kind of like it though when I visit because it feels like it's like a prehistoric forest.
Prehistoric forest?
Like prehistoric, like there's like all these like huge ferns and like redwood trees.
Yeah,
like
I guess because I like grew up with the forest, I'm like kind of used to it. I'm like not as like phased.
What was it like growing up so close to like the woods and wildlife?
So one thing I like sort of miss about BC is like waking up to the sound of crows. There was one brief period during the summer of like 2019, I think, where I just like get swarmed by crows because it was like nesting season. And so they just attack me out of nowhere, like in my neighborhood. And like crows are like very intelligent, right? So if like one crow hates you, the whole pack around the neighborhood hates you. So like there was a period where I
Really?
just get chased away by crows in front of my house. I remember in my elementary school, you had to go through a forest trail, and on the path through the forest trail, there was a salmon hatchery. So I'd be able to see salmon, and like during salmon spawning season, you could like smell the rotting salmon that like die when they like go upstream. So you'd be able to like smell that anywhere, even on the streets. I also have another story about like a bear encounter. Schools in BC, we have what are called bear drills, where if a bear enters like the playground or like the school field, we'd have like an announcement saying, okay, stay indoors for recess or lunch, because that's not like out of the ordinary. And so one day I was walking to school. This was back in middle school, and I was with a friend. And so there was a bear in between where we were and the school was in the parking lot. And we didn't notice at first until my friend poked me, and he was like, hey, Simon, like, there's a bear over there. And we're like, what? And like we saw like cubs.
Oh,
bear
see, that's the
cubs, too.
most dangerous.
Yeah.
'Cause they get like aggressive.
Like we saw bear
there.
cubs earlier too, so we're like, oh, that's strange. But we didn't know what to do, and we like tried creeping past the bear, and out of nowhere, my friend just started running to the school.
Isn't
like,
that what you're supposed to not do that?
Yeah, you're
right?
supposed to like not make sudden movements. You're not supposed to like turn your back to the bear. So we just ran to the school.
And you escaped
And-
with your life.
Yeah, and we didn't tell anyone about the bear.
Really?
So
There was a.
someone
you
might have
didn't warn
gotten
the
eaten.
others.
Yeah.
It's every man for himself.
Yeah.
I'm wondering what the nature of the arts and music scene looks like in British Columbia.
I do know that BC's produced some of the top artists of the decade, such as like Nelly Furtado, Michael Bublé, and Carly Rae Jepsen.
In my opinion, I think the 90s were the peak of the BC music scene. Some people may argue that it was the 60s, the 70s when the Beatles and the Stones came through and they were touring in Vancouver all the time. But during the 90s, there was a huge influx of like grunge and punk artists coming up from Seattle, because Seattle is, I think it's a 2-hour drive to like Vancouver, maybe 3.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people who live in Seattle have Nexus passes.
What are Nexus passes?
It's like kind of like a fast pass through the border. So there's like a special line, like when you're crossing the border in a car, then it's like a fast track line to get between the borders. So it's just really easy to get into BC from Seattle. So during that time, there was like a huge punk influence, and another pretty influential person in the music scene, but Nardwar, he's from BC, and he got his start in the 90s in like the kind of DIY alternative scene. And from what my dad has told me, the really cool thing about him is that he would promote you no matter what. So he was like really indiscriminatory in what kind of bands and artists that he was promoting. If like if you had a sound that he liked, he would put you on the stage. And so that was pretty cool and outside of what most promoters would do. You're listening to our interview with Simon here on Tracks from Abroad, CRUT 89.5 FM.
Shouting revolution, breaking these traditions, constant evolution, shifting up positions, not asking for permissions, firm in this wisdom, foothold in the galaxy, challenging these systems. Shouting revolution, oh wow, breaking these traditions, constant evolution is a shifting up positions. I'm not asking for permission, firm in this wisdom, foothold in the galaxy, challenging these systems. Vibrate through reality like code, the alchemy, dimensional formality, run force to help to be interactivated into our intuition, inner captivated time tuned to this position, into actuated hours, into all these missions, and to activate the stars that ascend to all this fission. Shouting revolution, breaking these traditions, constant evolution, shifting up positions, not asking for permissions, firm in this wisdom, foothold in the galaxy, challenging these systems. Shouting revolution, oh wow, breaking these traditions, constant evolution is a shifting up position.
What is a witch? Cast a spell on them. Journey through the glitch. Tick tock, magic carpet floating through time. Magnify the matrix. Balance for the level. She, devil, she, angel, she. I'm the he, she, they. How you look at it? How you look at it? Eyes wise, what was mine? Elder is a child on the front line. Signs traced to face duality of rhyme. Humility and shine. Got skills from crimes committed against the system. I've been fighting ever since you was a kid and they called you savage. Now we kick them spit traditions. Obedient to cosmic. Say it cause you mean it. Dance cause you mean it. Sign up on the statements, resculpt the landscape, homie redesign it, till I hear my sis say, focus on your target, cops up with the scars lit, killing them with softness, finger to the Marcus, back of the cardinal, bargain, just acknowledge stars, or take your own medicine, it will go far for healing, radical existence, energy we swim in, salmon by the banca, she scream Maki Vodka, march like the water, tell me how to scheme on, and with their own language, mother tongue took the last flight, from Manila to Coast Salish, I'm a baby roaring, I'm a bitch burning, what's a witch learning? Universe teach me, teach us how to we free, we free. Universe teach me, teach us how to we free, we free.
Galaxy challenging these systems.
So notably, Amelia, our co-host here at Tracks from Abroad, is also from the West Coast.
I'm from Oakland.
Oakland,
Ian.
for both of you, growing up on either ends of the Canadian-American border in the Pacific region of North America, what life looked like for you and how that might have been the same or different?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always going to say West Coast, Best Coast. Since coming to Toronto, I really noticed the difference in like people and like social interactions. Like I feel like on the West Coast, for me personally, people are a lot more maybe like open when you first meet them. Like they're a lot more like
Chatty.
Yeah, that's totally true. They're super chatty actually. Yeah, versus here it's like you kind of have to like coax it out of people, which like I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's the main difference that I noticed when I moved here is I definitely had to change how I like interacted with people to like kind of get them more comfortable, because at least where I'm from, when you greet people you give them like a hug and a compliment, but I don't know if you have like a similar experience.
Honestly, I disagree with you when you say West Coast is Best Coast.
Really?
Yeah, you know how West Coast is like typically more like laid back and like chill. I don't want to like diss, but like I guess it's partly because I grew up a suburban area, but like I find that like the people who stayed home instead of moved out, they're kind of like complacent, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I took a class in BC at UBC about like harm reduction and like social problems in BC, but like there is to this day like a huge drug problem. Like if you go to East Hastings Street, BC was one of the first provinces to legalize a lot of drugs. Like alcohol is legalized, which means that the government can impose taxes on it and make money off of it. However, decriminalization means that if you're carrying a drug, say like you have like a certain amount of grams of like heroin on you, you won't be penalized. And so BC had a really liberal drug policy that included safe injection sites and mental health resources on top of decriminalizing the amount that you're allowed to carry. However, they recently repealed one of the sections of the law about using drugs in public places. So you're no longer allowed to use drugs in public places like parks or stuff like that. There's a lot of like different opinions on where drug use should be allowed to be, but because of that, when Toronto put forward their drug decriminalization plan, it had a much harder time going through because
BC had already had that experience.
Yeah,
and most
exactly.
people viewed it as something which was negative.
Exactly.
So famously, you both made the trek across the continent here to Toronto. What was it that was so alluring? Or perhaps it wasn't. Tell me.
I kind of wanted like change of pace to get out of my comfort zone. So I wanted to move out of my hometown and like honestly, I really like Toronto better than Vancouver just because it's like so diverse and like I feel like there's always something going on in the city that you can't really predict what's going on like the next day. And I like kind of like that unpredictability or chaos in my life. Hello, this is Simon from British Columbia. You are listening to Tracks from Abroad on CIUT 89.5 FM.
Making shit with the grateful, hey.
Yeah, yeah.
Making shit with the grateful, hey.
Yeah, give me those eyes. Making shit with the grateful, yeah, yeah. You give me those eyes, those cinnamon eyes. Might be my demise. Yeah. Thank God for those thighs, those cinnamon thighs. Sent chills down my spine. I love you. Girl, I got no shame. I need you. Swim in my veins. With you, girl, you can't get nowhere. It's so rare. I'm savoring every taste. You gave me those eyes, those cinnamon eyes. Might be my demise. Thank God for those thighs, those cinnamon thighs. Sent chills down my spine. I crave you on my worst days, in the worst ways. I'm unworthy. Yeah. I try to keep it smooth with a kick, 'cause you like it spicy, don't you? You give me those eyes, those cinnamon eyes. Might be my demise. Yeah. Thank God for those thighs, those cinnamon thighs. Sent chills down my spine. Yeah. Thank God for those thighs, those cinnamon thighs. Sent chills down my spine. I'ma need you. Yeah. Girl, I'ma need you. Addict off one taste, driving me insane, but I can't complain. We walk the line,
Hey, 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 and welcome back to Tracks from Abroad on CIUT 89.5 FM. One more time, I just want to remind our listeners about the Sound of Your City Fall fundraising campaign. We are the only community radio station left in Toronto, and CIUT is thus the only organization which gives a platform to students like us in our mission of uplifting local and global voices. This week, we've just reached our goal of $100,000, and our stretch goal is $120,000. For donations over $120, CIUT is offering a special promotion. This is our classic glow-in-the-dark t-shirt designed for CIUT in 1989. If you feel inspired by our programming or want a cool t-shirt, please consider donating at 416-946-7800. Toll-free is 1-888-204-8976. Online donations can be made at www.ciut.fm.
Hi, this is your host, Amelia Spong. So what many people, well, maybe you do after you heard the interview, but a lot of my family lives in BC, and specifically on the islands in BC. So I grew up visiting different islands off the coast of Vancouver Island. One of those is Pender Island, which is a lovely little island where you can enjoy frisbee and hiking. And the other one is Hansen Island, where my grandfather, Paul Spong, has an orca research station. So he actually has a really interesting life story. He was born in New Zealand and then moved to the University of California at Los Angeles, where he studied neuroscience. And he was specifically looking at orcas' brains and how they communicate. Yeah, so he studied neuroscience, and then he moved to Vancouver with my grandmother, Linda, where he got the opportunity to work at the aquarium with an orca called Skana. And during his work with Skana, he studied her behavior and her ability to communicate. And what he found out is that orcas are very deeply intelligent creatures who really thrive off of social bonds.
Yeah, and so he ended up doing a lot of research on the communication patterns of orcas and other whale species, if that's right, off the west coast, all the way up through Washington and British Columbia, if that's right.
And so he actually, what was really cool that he noticed is that Skana would become depressed when she was by herself, but when she was in the pool with an orca called Hayek, they would vocalize together and they would communicate. Mm-hmm. So he took that research and he helped found an organization called the Killer Whale Organist Orca Foundation, or K-Wolf. And there he studied an orca called Corky, who had survived in captivity for more than 50 years. And my grandpa pretty much dedicated his life to not only the study of orcas, but also to Corky, trying to free her. Mm-hmm. So after that, he founded Orcalab on Hansen Island, which is an island off the coast of British Columbia. I got the opportunity to visit it a lot when I was a child, and I found it really beautiful and rewarding. So there he created a network of hydrophones that covered over 50 square kilometers of ocean, which is a really impressive feat.
So hydrophone, you mean something like a microphone under the water, is that right?
Well, yes, that's the
right,
etymology of it. Yeah. And now they actually have really cool technology such as live streams, which you can actually access online. So you can watch the orcas come to rub themselves on these rocks, which is really interesting behavior. But yeah, so he just has like records and records of orca communication and used them to help try and stop whaling. Mm-hmm. So he worked with Greenpeace. He
actually helped found Greenpeace, is that correct?
Yes. He was a I call him a foundational member.
And this was through like the 1960s and the 70s, right?
Yes.
All this work on orca conservation.
Orca conservation, and almost, I kind of hesitate to use the word humanize, but really to empathize with orcas as living creatures.
I think through a lot of his work, as I've read just in my introduction, you, it looks like a lot of it is about the communication patterns and trying to draw connections between humans and orcas, right? I think, like you said, adding that human element as sort of a call to action for conservation.
Yeah, and he specifically works with the northern resident orcas, which is a really interesting pod. So what's cool about orcas is because they live so long, you really get to notice their family dynamics and how pods grow and change and communicate with each other over time. So yeah, I found it just amazing to be able to visit that environment and to learn about such beautiful creatures.
Yeah, I think so often when I think of British Columbia, I think of nature, I think of wildlife. So it's so cool that we have a personal connection to that and the conservation of this wildlife right here in the studio at CIUT today.
When you sat inside, whipping up your lines about destroying, like you could only care for the bitter end of it again. Hold me at your side. Call me to deny that I had loved you when I already can't even walk past 12 to get a Granville. Even at the golden light of morning, leading you away from all this strife, having enough, so you tossed it up like skeet and shot it, just to mark up your week with a little candy of blood red. Even at the golden light of morning, leading you away from all this strife, having ordinary company that always leaves you dry. Even at the cocaine continental, laughing at the way you cut your lines, having all of everybody's begging, backing up the time.
Don't call me and expect anything other than my usual apathetic tone. I'm not a cop, I'm not a priest, but you confess it all to me. Who else knows? Maybe I'm just a manic pixie pacifist. Act real life that you've been living in. Just a step in your character development. Was I just playing a role and you were taking me home? We took the day to Carver Bay. a savior complex. Maybe I'm just a manic pixie pacifist. Act real life that you've been living in. Just a step in your character development. Was I just playing a role and you were taking me home? Maybe I'm just a manic pixie pacifist. Act real life that you've been living in. Just a step in your character development. Was I just playing a role and you were taking me home?
One more time, I just want to remind our listeners about the Sound of Your City Fall Fundraising Campaign. As the only community radio station left in Toronto, CIUT is the only organization which has given us a platform to advance our mission of uplifting local and global voices. Our stretch goal is $120,000, and we are currently $20,000 away from this goal. A reminder that donations of $120 or more will receive a complimentary glow-in-the-dark t-shirt designed for CIUT in 1989.
Very retro.
If you feel inspired by our programming, please consider donating at local 416-946-7800. That's 416-946-7800. Or at toll-free of 1-888-204-8976. 1-888-204-8976. Online donations can be made at www.ciut.fm.
So we want to take some time now to highlight some incredible Indigenous artists coming out of BC. Coming up, you're going to be hearing some music from the First Nations hip-hop duo Snotty Nose Rez Kids. This is a group made up of artists Darren Metz and Quinton Nice from the Haisla First Nation in Kitimat, BC. Their music has been nominated both for Juno Awards and Polaris Music Prize, as well as the Indigenous Music Awards. This year, actually, was announced that they'll be starring in their very own comedy TV show on CBC television, premiering next year, which explores their lives before fame.
Then you'll hear some tracks from R&B pop singer Hayley Wallace, who's part of the Kitasoo Hi Nation, growing up on Klemtu, a small island located in the heart of the Great Bear Rainforest in British Columbia. Her music received recognition from CBC Searchlight in 2023. As a mother, her music is donated to her children and dedicated to her children and her people, seeking to set an example that will empower the young generation of her community to pursue their dreams.
From 7 to 9, Indigenous Waves is going to be playing here on 89.5 FM. Till that time, you're listening to the music of BC on Tracks from Abroad with Amelia Spong and Ian Gillis.
We're playing the sounds of your world.
enough. Had a rough situation, tough, but the spirit shining through. Creator knew the world needed one of you. Cause the future looking brighter, real sacred as the youth. Red future.
Sun rises and falls each day, kissing the ocean waves, sea tides not waiting for me, problems they wash away. So we are praying that deadlines are delayed and having fun is a game plan. Cause life ain't that serious. Drink your coffee in the afternoon. Forget your excess old news. Calling to work is good for you. You're not here for a long time. Leave your bed a mess today. Drink your wine like it's Friday. Get on a plane and fly away. You're not here for a long time. Streetlights on this road of ours. Night sky, we watch the stars. Your hand in mine for hours. Dancing in storm showers. So we are praying that deadlines are delayed and having fun is a game plan. Cause life ain't that serious. Drink your coffee in the afternoon. Forget your excess old news. Calling to work is good for you. You're not here for a long time. Leave your bed a mess today. Drink your wine like it's Friday. Get on a plane and fly away. You're not here for a long time. Let it go, let it flow. Life is short, you ought to know. It's your time, let it shine. We're just here for a good time. Let it go, let it flow. Life is short, you ought to know. It's your time, let it shine. We're just here for a good time. Drink your coffee in the afternoon. Forget your excess old news. Calling to work is good for you. You're not here for a long time. Leave your bed a mess today. Drink your wine like it's Friday. Get on a plane and fly away. You're not here for a long time.
Yo, D. What up, though? Pass me a tissue.
Yeah, I wish that I could go back from time and space to the land to where no one gave a damn about the snot on my face. Where all the snotty nosed res kids you found at the bay couldn't even be phased by what you thought of their ways. Cause you know we feeling numbness when we're swimming swimming in the Douglas when the sun hit the sky. Without a doubt, we raised the ruckus. Butt naked out in public, but you know we don't care. We never cared about the tides. If it's hot out, they there. You can catch me on the beach, wet feet in my socks, or with wieners in my tackle box, fishing off the dock. And good God, I used to dread reeling in them bullheads. I'd pretend that they were sharks, and I never tell my friends, man, cause my imagination got me bullied by them older fellas. My mama told me they were jealous. You couldn't shoot my confidence, it's bulletproof, man. And I got mama to thank, man. She made me who I am.
We them snotty-nosed rats kids say out to play. That's every day, and everybody here knows my name. Oh, some things just never change. We be up to some no good things, back and forth like we're on the swings, handling that playground biz. We them snotty-nosed rats kids.
I've been running round the red, snot dripping off my nose, in an old pair of kicks and some hand-me-down clothes. And even back then, I never had a lot of friends until the kids around the res would play cowboys and Indians. They all wanted to be cowboys, but I'm a native and I'm proud of it. Me and all my cousins facing everyday struggles. Like I told this girl I liked her and she kicked me in the stomach. I get it. She was raised around her brother, and the only thing tougher than her brother was her mother. I was only 7. I learned a valuable lesson. My mama told me that these girls could be my cousin. I said I wasn't doing none. I got a village to run, cause my mama's favorite grandson ran with them village kids. Until my mama heard that my cousin stole her cigarettes. I think my brother told him, man, he's such a stupid idiot. You need to calm down, mom. I swear it wasn't me. She beat my ass dumb, but I could take it. I was young, I was raised by my res, man. You know where I'm from. And when the snot hits my lip, I still lick it with my tongue, cause
We them snotty-nosed rats kids say out to play. That's every day, and everybody here knows my name. Oh, some things just never change. We be up to some no good things, back and forth like we're on the swings, handling that playground biz. We them snotty-nosed rats kids.
Yo, let's take it back to when all of my names were here. When you switch from socks to boxes for your underwear. Out and about until the night sky was crystal clear. Can't wake up the mama bear, so we creeping up the stairs, hella scared. Cause she gotta get up and grind early. Sneaking around the house with the homies just to cook pierogies. With peach fuzz up on my lip and my hair curly. My only worry was to get my shy ass to talk to girlies. Slowly but surely, man, it's where it all began. I ain't even have a celly yet, thank God for MSN. All I needed was some good dial-up connection. A little bit before I thought about getting it in now. A year later is where it all starts. It marks the time my cats will spark the ganja green and puff darts. I puppy love but break hearts, and sometimes we're really that smart. Like after dark, sipping a mama stash while walking through the park to the last high school dance. With all the fams, got my Kanye's steeds with polo tees and baggy pants. Had a plan for this one, honey. My last chance to get a summer romance and saved it for the last dance. I was surprised that it worked. You can tell from the smirk that I had up on my face that I was happy with my choice. Friday night delight, feeling good and right. I got home and man, I couldn't wait to tell the boys. Still I kept it on the low, cause mama don't need to know that a baby boy was looking for some love just yet. And how can I forget when she found out? I bet it was because I came home with some hickeys on my neck down. Scared straight, stayed out late, but it's the price I'll pay, cause it felt great. Mama go kill me, but in the back of my head, I know damn well I'ma do it all over again.
like the stars up in the sky to get those hallelujah vibes. 'Cause deep inside, I get those hallelujah vibes. They call me butterfly, shining like the sun is mine. Been trying to see the truth, but they say their love is blind. Waiting to find you, but all I do is run and hide. But when I think of you, I finally become alive. A lot of pain in the things I've said, but you never really care, so I sing instead. But in time, we find these are the gifts you get. When the caterpillar rises, the wings will spread. Now I'm free to be a queen and explore my truth. The more I love, the more I do. Bored I was, ignored my views. A new self is born, transformed and grew. The shores I knew was a hidden passage. Young and free, I was different back then. Here in the future, I'm living and laughing. I'm ready to fly, I know my spirit is magic. Are you a mystery, forever unknown? Just wanna live free, just wanna come home. Hoping you give me something to touch on before my time is almost done. I've been looking at the sun, ready to fly up in the sky to get those hallelujah vibes. 'Cause deep inside, I get those hallelujah vibes.
Join us at CIUT Studio 2 every